More than 80 Afghan men who staged a protest outside Darwin's immigration detention centre are facing an uncertain future after being flown to Western Australia. The protest drew a strong response from some members of the public caught up in traffic banked up outside the detention centre. Michael Coggan reports on the fallout from the Darwin protest.
This is a democracy, for God's sake. What other people are hidden away in black holes with no access to lawyers, to family, to friends? How can a government like ours send them back to certain death?
Each decision is taken on its merits, on the individual's claim. Those rates have changed over time. We have seen a marked change in Afghan rates, but that's not, I stress, as a result of change in government policy.
There have been plenty of warnings that this facility was not built with a level of amenity to ensure that people who wanted to get out couldn't get out.
Afghanistan is a safe place for us, but Afghanistan is not safe for us.
An investigation is underway into how 89 Afghan asylum seekers broke out at the Darwin Detention Centre to stage a high-profile protest. But in a politically charged environment, it's unclear what impact it will have on the individuals and on immigration policy.
People weren't rioting, they were just sitting peacefully there trying to make a point. And yes, you can argue whether it was a good idea or whether it's forwarded their cause, and probably not.
The protest held up early morning traffic and triggered some strong reactions, many of them recorded online.
Send them back. They're illegal. If they wish to emigrate here, there's a correct and generous procedure to follow.
You want to live here? Do it legally. Australians are sick and tired of illegal people coming in.
Send the queue jumpers home. There are many potential legal immigrants who have to wait years to come to Australia.
About 90% of asylum seekers that come here are found to be genuine asylum seekers, and we signed a covenant. We're responsible for those people. They're not illegal.
It has caused a great deal of angst in the community, but I think my sense of it is that the community are angry with the government who allowed them to come here. I don't think people are trying to demonise the people behind why themselves.
These Rohingyan refugees from Burma arrived by boat at Christmas Island 8 months ago after spending years in detention in Malaysia and Indonesia. Now they're living in Darwin's northern suburbs after being released from the Darwin Detention Centre just 2 weeks ago.
I don't know what's going to happen to my friends in the detention centre. Some of them have been there for a year. Now we're worried about them.
26-year-old Baksh Shamir says long delays in processing his visa claim frustrated him to the point that he went on a 10-day hunger strike.
Other people like Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, Iraq, Kurdish, they got to 3 months' time and they got visas. But the Burmese didn't get visas.
This frustration at visa processing delays also triggered the breakout and protest this week at the detention centre.
We're dealing with a very high caseload of irregular maritime arrivals.
82 of the protesters were loaded into a procession of police paddy wagons and taken to a chartered plane at Darwin's Air Force Base. They've been flown to the Curtin Detention Centre in Western Australia, and their future remains uncertain.
The staff are doing their best with nothing. It's absolute bare bones detention, indemountables, punishment system.
This separate protest last weekend by the alleged people smugglers didn't involve the Afghan asylum seekers, but the Department of Immigration says the damage inflicted has forced them to move the Afghan detainees, even though they were in a separate section of the detention centre.
The transfer of the Afghan detainees has nothing to do with punishment. It has everything to do with the Department of Immigration and Citizenship being a robust and a flexible organisation.
If you broke it, you cannot get your visa.
Refugee support groups want whoever forms government to put an end to the suspension of Afghan asylum seeker claims to ease the pressure on the detention system.
There are actually enormous pressures being felt by asylum seekers as a result of the suspension of asylum applications from Afghanistan that the government put in place as of April this year. So essentially what that means is there's a lot more people in detention.
We're into a new game phase. We don't know who's going to be the government. We don't know what the policy's going to be.
Many people come to this country seeking asylum from places that are unhappy, that have civil strife, that have poverty and that have risks. But each application for asylum is an individual application based on that individual applicant's circumstances.
The coalition campaigned on a policy of stopping the boats and have promised to remove the freeze on Afghan asylum seeker claims if they win government.
This is a pretty inhumane way of treating people, and it does create this pressure cooker effect that people are becoming more and more and more stressed because it's not as if they have to wait for 6 months or 3 months or 4 months. It just appears to them to be completely endless.
Many of the protesters have already had their applications for protection visas denied. Facing the prospect of deportation, the Coggan Detention Centre will be their new home until any appeals are finalised, a lot further away from the public eye than Darwin.
Michael Coggan reporting there.